Como siempre. Hello, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Joining me from across the globe, welcome on board the Transformation Podcast with your host, Leading Empowerment and Transformation Authority, Dr. Sylvia Forchap Likambi. It's a pleasure and privilege to have you join me today on the Transformation Podcast. The Transformation Podcast, hosted by my wonderful self, Dr. Sylvia Forchap Likambi, is a podcast designed or with messages, impactful life transformational messages to equip, empower you with life changing blueprints, principles, resources, and tools for you to live a fulfilling, purposeful, and healthy life so that you can step out and be successful and truly fulfilling in life. And I am your wonderful host, Dr. Sylvia Forchap Candy. Thank you for joining me on the Transformation Podcast. I'm actually streaming live on Facebook as well, but I'm going to focus on the YouTube as always because this will be shared later on as part of the Transformation Podcast. So, for those of you who've never watched the Transformation Podcast before, I invite you to join me on this episode of the Transformation Podcast. Again, it's all about sharing inspirational and life changing content with you. And this is around relationship, personal development, leadership, entrepreneurship, and also your health and well being. Because the key is that you thrive in all areas of your life. You become successful in all areas of your life so that you can live a fulfilling and purposeful life. But not only that, you can also impact and transform the lives of those around you and those you are privileged to encounter while living this purposeful and healthy and successful life. Thank you as you join me on this episode. It's been a while. I've not launched or I've not done an episode on the Transformation Podcast. I've been doing a lot of other things. I've focused a lot lately on the Women of Faith podcast, which I started recently. And I've had over, I mean, it's a daily podcast from August, from March. So actually, I've got about how many videos on that if we calculate from March. So 30 days in a month, March to June. What is that? No, we are in October right now, isn't it? That's about 180 episodes so far because it's 30 per month. Over 6 months, it's about 180 podcasts that I've done so far, and it's daily. It's been consistent because it's one of my key calling. And right now, I want to do the transformation podcast. I want to do a message, and my message for today is also similar or in alignment with what I'm doing on the Women of Faith podcast, which is all about patience. It's all about developing unwavering patience. It's all about stepping out. I've got to test this and make sure that my volume is on. The last time I did it, perfect. I realized there was no volume. After I finished recording everything, there was absolutely no volume. It's very natural. I don't edit this podcast. It comes to you as authentic as it could be. I share life, I share authentically, and you get exactly the message as it was delivered without any editing or cutting out any bits. Today, we're going to look at something so close to my heart. And like I said, we are also working on this on the Women of Faith podcast. Specifically, we are focusing on patience. It takes a lot of self control to be patient. And I want to invite you, if you're struggling in these areas of your life, this podcast will actually help you to have unwavering self control. There are areas in my life where I'm unwavering when it comes to controlling myself in those areas, self control. There are areas where I'm still working. Even the areas where I'm incredible, I'm always working to improve because it's important. Every day we must be better than we were the previous day because only our best will do. And if I've already done my best today, tomorrow I must be better than I was today. If I do the same, then it's not my best because that has already been done. I cannot replicate what I've already done. I cannot go below it. So we have four powerful blueprints tested and proven for developing unwavering self control. How many of us are struggling to control ourselves? The greatest power we can have is the power of self control, self mastery. When we know other people, it's incredible. That's knowledge. Knowledge is important, it's potential power. When we know ourselves, this is more powerful. It's not just knowledge, it becomes more powerful. That's true power. It lies in knowing ourselves and above all, understanding ourselves. That's where we go to the highest level of power, of authority, of mastery, where we have power over ourselves. And only when we can actually control ourselves can we dare to think of even controlling other situations, not people, because everyone has a willpower. Everyone has the ability to control themselves, to actually determine the course of their life that they can learn from others who have walked through the path they want to walk on, or actually they inspire to walk on. So it's very important that you understand that you are responsible for your life and I'm responsible for my life. I'm sharing this with you now to inspire and encourage you so you might get these tools and principles. Where I've made mistakes, you don't have to make those same mistakes. Like I have learned from some leaders in the areas where they made mistakes, and I have improved myself far quickly than I would have done if I'd not learned from these leaders. So, my beloved, we often say experience is the greatest teacher. It must not be our experience. One of my friends, Dr. Eta, he said this, and I love it. He said, a wise person learns from the experiences of the others. When we learn from our own experience, it's quite cheap, and that's not wisdom. We don't have to always fail to be able to learn a lesson. I don't have to fall into the pit before I know that I don't have to walk through that path. I can learn from those who have gone ahead of me through that path, and they've fallen. Then they've come back and given me blueprints and resources to walk on that path and avoid those pitfalls, because it is in certain positions, and that's why we need mentors and coaches in our lives, especially mentors who've been through the path we desire to go on or we desire to walk on. So, what are these four powerful blueprints? First of all, what's self control? When we talk of self control, there is control, isn't it? It's about regulation, regulation of the self, regulation on the self. When we talk of regulation, there must be a point, there must be a definite measure. We need to be able to measure if something is regulated. So there should be a standard, there should be a landmark, there should be a point of reference. And when it goes above that point, my goal, if I'm regulating it, if I'm controlling it, is to make sure it gets back to that point. When it goes below, is to ensure that it comes back to that point. So self-control is simply our ability to regulate the self. And this includes our emotions, our impulses, our desires. So we don't allow them to control us. We should have power, authority. The one that controls has authority and power to check and to balance. So it comes to that reference point, whatever they are controlling, be it a thing, be it a resource, in this case, is the self. So you and I have power, authority, and control to regulate ourselves. So the regulation, first and foremost, the key blueprints, self-awareness is the number one. We now have a definite point of reference. What is self-awareness? What is self-control? It's all about yourself. If I'm controlling myself, no one has the power to do this. No one has the authority to do this. No one can do it. Else other people will be having control over you. The moment we use the word self-control, it depends on you. It's your duty, obligation, and responsibility. It's your duty, your obligation, and responsibility. It's my duty, obligation, and responsibility to control myself. If I don't control myself, then I will go in any direction. There will not be balance. There will not be that regulation. There will not be that standard. Who now sets this standard? So before that, who set this standard? Let's clarify things, okay? If not, I can be like everybody, we go today in a world saying that, oh, my truth, your truth, as if truth is different. So to me, cursing someone might be it's okay, it's allowed because of who I am, the way I think. And then to you, no, life doesn't work that way. Each of us don't own a truth. Truth is determined by the creator or manufacturer of a thing. If you create an object, a product, you give the purpose of that product because you create for a purpose. You create, before you create anything, you have a vision in mind of what you want that thing to accomplish, what you want that thing to fulfill, which is the purpose, the original intent for creating something. And in our case, we are humans. We are not something. We are more than a thing. We are humans. We are beings. So let me finish first with the things. The original intent for creating a thing. So if I have to create something and I call that thing maybe whatever it is, something that no one has created before, or let's say light. Let me not give something that no one has created before because I've not created it. I cannot give you clarity. I may make you to become confused. Let's say light. The intent for creating light when Thomas Edison invented the light bulb was that the power in it was able to be made manifest, through light, ways of light we can see. It can bring light. We know what light is. I shouldn't use it to define, but light is light, honestly. You can't really explain light. It makes itself manifest. They have to give the purpose of that light. It brings light in the darkness. It brings this. If you create a phone, for example, Samsung, iPhone, they determine the purpose of that phone. They determine the standard, and they give you warranty because this phone is created or is manufactured to fulfill this purpose. And the laws that govern the functioning of this phone so that it fulfills its full potential to achieve the purpose for which I created it to achieve. You must do this, that, and that. Those are the laws. That's the truth. Those are the principles that govern the functioning of that phone. You cannot say, oh, I've got a different opinion. No. If you put that phone in water, who said the truth and the standards, how that phone has to be treated or used to fulfill its function, so don't put it in water, else you destroy it. You are actually defiling truth. You are working contrary to the truth that regulates the functioning of that phone, and you will destroy it. Truth is not determined by you and me. I cannot come and say today, I don't feel good enough. I'm not going to call a phone a phone. I'll give it a different name. I'll give it a different identity based on the way I feel. Absolutely. You cannot change what you don't create. Those are opinions. Opinions do not create things. Opinions are not tangible creations. Opinions are things that remain in your mind trap and then you say it. And opinions are cheap. Opinion is not a tangible product. When someone has created, it becomes physically tangible and it is present on this earth. They have taken their ideals, their thoughts, whatever, at that moment they had in their mind, the vision, and they've made it a physical, tangible reality with a unique purpose that it will accomplish when it is used according to the way the creator or the manufacturer of that product designed it to work. So hope we have established that. So you cannot say my truth is not the same like your truth. Else we'll have problems. We'll have problems. Some people can be like, killing is norm. My truth is in my village, we all kill. My truth is in my city, we all kill. My truth is absolutely no. The creator now of a human, nobody can tell me, every single thing on this planet, as little as a pen, as little as a sheet of paper, did not just come from some big bang theory and is existing. It took a mind, a mastermind behind it. It took someone having a vision of what they wanted to create and went to work to create that chair to fulfill the purpose for letting us sit comfortably without falling, for creating that paper to let us write or type very well so it can be read. Whoever created whatever it is, think about how complex we are as humans, that we just came from some stuff. If we just kept evoluting, if we just came from evolution, from a big bang theory explosion, then we would keep evolving. We will keep changing. My eye someday can become something else, but you can see that there is a mastermind behind this. The eyes are designed over time only to see and only to see, of course, tears and other things to keep it regulated to fulfill its function, keep it lubricated and not dry and all of that because it is contrary to it fulfilling its ultimate purpose if the eyes become so dry and itchy and dirty. So you've got all of these things and the eyes will never change over time. If there is one thing, it will instead deteriorate as we age, It cannot evolve. So I want you to understand behind us, human beings, there is a master creator behind us, and that is God. That is the Almighty God who created you and I. We are spiritual beings having a natural physical experience on this planet Earth. And we are created with a spiritual entity, power, a soul which has a mind, emotions, and willpower. And then finally our physical body, which makes us actually be able to communicate, relate with one another on this physical earth. You can hear me, you can see me, you can touch me, you can hug me, and all of that. I can taste food and know that it's good. So I experience pleasure, fulfillment when I eat something because my taste bud can determine how great they look or how great it tastes. And then I enjoy it. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, my darling sister. Hi, darling. I'm doing my transformation podcast. I'm not going to be distracted now on Facebook. I've got my wonderful big sister joining me, sending you lots of love, big sis. And I'm going to continue here because this is a podcast. But thank you all for joining. And please do share this podcast. Big sis, please share this podcast to bless someone who is watching. So we are created in the image of God. He is spirit, and we actually must function in accordance with his laws and principles that govern our being. And he says one of the things, I've not given you a spirit of fear. Spirit is not fearful. We have not got a spirit of fear. That's why you cannot be afraid when you're having a great conviction, when you know your purpose in life. People can kill this physical body. They cannot kill an idea. They cannot kill the spirit. The spirit will continue to live long after this body is gone. So you have to have that grounded. You have to be grounded by that purpose. You have to be grounded by that conviction. You've not been given a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and sound mind. You've got to understand that your mind is sound. Your mind is sound. There are certain things that will keep your mind sound. So the reference point is determined by the Creator. God said, you have a sound mind. I've given you a spirit of courage. I've given you power and authority over several things. And let me make this clear. If you realize, yeah, we are only human, we are the only ones, the only creation on this earth, apart from like plants. Plants just grow and fulfill their full potential and all of that because they don't have the willpower. They don't have the ability to make choices. They don't have the ability to choose what they want to do. Whereas as humans, we have the ability. And that's where the danger comes in. Because when you are free, freedom comes with responsibility. You may take yourself off your purpose. You may destroy yourself. You may also stop your growth and you do not fulfill your full potential because you made the decision, the choice not to do what you had to do to become the best version of yourself. So freedom comes with responsibility, a lot of responsibility. And that's why if you look at it, only humans, we are the only ones who never fulfill our full potential. There are no animals who don't fulfill their full potential. There is no tree that grows and stops at a certain stage. The only thing in us that we cannot control is the thing that we don't have the willpower or we don't have the choice or ability to stop it, which is our growth. However, of course, if we tie something on our leg, we don't want our leg to stretch anymore, we can still consciously impact our growth. You've got children who've never been placed there to walk, they've been maltreated, and they could not develop their muscles, their leg muscles, and all of that. So they cannot work, even though they were created to mature naturally, and their legs would definitely start helping them to walk. But because they've not matured, they've not developed in those areas, unfortunately, they cannot walk. So having this in mind, as spiritual beings, we have so much power which comes from the spirit. So the reference point is set by God. The reference point. So we know what is good. In other words, you can't tell me my good is not the same as your good. Cursing someone is not the same to me. I don't even want to use the word sin. Cursing someone to me is okay. So my reference point, if I'm angry, is okay. They will have so many different reference points. Okay. And that's why we have a lot of people, chaotic people, mad people in our world today, harming people, killing people, and people are making justification for this and saying they have this, that, and that. There's a reference point, ultimate reference point. The standard here is designed by God. If we have to say my reference point, for example, in terms of my health, obesity, people who are fat, who are obese, I'm not going to change the word. You are obese. You say, oh, my reference point is normal eating means eating 50 hamburgers a day. That's my reference point. For me, that's the norm. So I will only regulate myself. That's nonsense, unfortunately. And you will get sick, you will destroy yourself because you become obese. There is a natural point determined by God, which scientists have learned and they've put out there in so many science books that you understand that a healthy human at this size and height needs to weigh this amount of, kilograms or pounds or so that they can actually thrive in their full potential. So that standard must be in a way that you are accomplishing your full potential. It cannot be detrimental. So what are these four blueprints? I've established two key things here. The definition of self-control is about yourself. You can't blame anyone. You can't give responsibility to anyone. You are responsible. You are to take control. It's not a blame game. It's a game of taking full control. It's a game of taking responsibility. It's a game of accepting your duty, your first and foremost duty. If you cannot control yourself, you cannot do anything. You cannot control anything that's given to you, not at your job, not people, under your responsibility. You cannot control. By the way, we are not meant to control people. We are meant to manage resources and then guide and lead people. So if you cannot control yourself, then unfortunately, if you come into this game with blame game, then unfortunately, there's no way you're not going to have self-control and you continue to see those emotional imbalances. You allow your emotions to run your life. And there is only one thing that happens when our emotions are in control of this body: destruction, damage, mediocrity, averageness, stupidity, foolishness. Those are the results and consequences when we allow our emotions to govern us because we are not conscious, we are not aware. It's the emotional brain, the primitive brain that is in function and in action, which is very, very subjective and never, never objective. Never, never. It's so irrational and never rational. So we must become aware and take full control. That's self-awareness. We must know without a standard, without a reference point, without a fixed point, a landmark, there can be no control, there can be no regulation because we just be moving in any direction. And it's not you who sets that landmark. It is set by an ultimate creator. Whatever you're handling, right now we are talking about the self, so there is no, controversy, there is no confusion. You are dealing with the self. You never created yourself. Am I right? If you did, raise your hand up. Did you create yourself? All of us were not even aware when we are going to be born. It took us a while before we discovered that we were even born. We got to know ourselves and who we are. Some of us have still not even found our identity. Some of us are still lost on this planet. We've not even discovered ourselves. We are living other people's lives. We are living the lives that people have given us. We are living in boxes that people have presented to us or put us in to live. So some of us are still lost. So we cannot even say it because what you've created, you have, master of it, mastery of it. So you cannot even master yourself if you don't know who you are. So you need to know that you did not create yourself and you cannot set the standard for you to achieve your full potential, for you to succeed and thrive in life. God, the ultimate creator, set those standards. Now we have to identify. You've actually taken responsibility. You know what it's all about. You know it, the standard. Let's go. What are these blueprints? First is self-awareness. Without self-awareness, there can be no change. Self-awareness is the beginning of every transformational journey. Self-awareness again is about the self. Awareness is about pausing and noticing. Awareness is different from just seeing something. I can see something, I'm not paying attention. Awareness is I pay attention, I'm present, I notice it, I take notice that this exists. I become aware that I'm always angry, for example. I'm always hyper. I'm always shouting. I'm always cursing. I'm always swearing. So you must become aware. We are not blaming you. You are not blaming yourself. Leave guilt out of this thing. You want to bring a solution, which is having that regulation of the self. You've got to become aware that I need regulation in this area. If you had to be lukewarm, for example, if we have a temperature when we go above a certain degree, 37 degree, or even in humans, 37, some people are even like, that's the norm, isn't it? Above, you know that you have a temperature, you're overheated. Below, you can be, hypothermic and all of that. Low temperature. Blood pressure as well, hypertension. There is a regulation. I can't say, oh, I'm setting my own standard based on science, based on our understanding of those who have studied the human body. They know that when you go above a certain pressure, blood pressure, things start going bad. Your body start functioning abnormally. You begin to have diseases, pathological conditions. Your body is no longer functioning as it was originally created to function. Remember again, purpose, the original intent for creation, as it was originally created to function at, with this amount of blood pressure, this amount of temperature, and everything. You have gone above. So they need to do everything to regulate that temperature to come back to that standard, that normal, that vision that God had for a thriving human being who is well, sound, and healthy. You must become aware. If you're not aware, for example, that you have a temperature, you're too hot now, you're not going to look for medication. You're not going to look for solutions because you think it's okay. I've shared this story with you before. I work with an incredible lady who said she's 23 years old. She never knew she was depressed. She's been depressed all her life, but she thought it was a norm because everyone she knew around her was depressed. So she was not even aware that there was something else called sound mental health. She thought it was the norm to go through life. Some people have suffered so much that they think that is the norm to suffer in life. They think it's the norm to struggle to have a meal on the table. And they are struggling. And because everyone around them struggle as well, they don't think that there is something else. People can just have it because they've worked hard and all of that. So we need to become aware before we can make change, before we can take control of something. Because if not, we'll just allow it waste resources, average living in that area of our life because we are not even aware. We are so focused on the external, moving away from who we truly are, that we don't notice those subtle changes within us. We don't notice that temperature high in some people getting high. Some people don't realize they even have high blood pressure because they are so busy working, doing things. And then until they fall, they collapse, they take them to the hospital and they say, how have you been doing all this while? Your temperature is so high because they've not been paying attention. They've not become self-aware. Some people are always angry. They are not self-aware. They are so aware of their friend, their brother, their ex, their sister, their mother-in-law, their father-in-law, blaming everyone but them, that they are the ones who trigger me. They are the ones who make me angry. They are so difficult to live with. You're not self-aware. Your goal or position on this earth is not to become aware of other people. Knowing others is great. It's intelligence. Knowing things is intelligent. You know, we say people are intelligent when they know things, they know maths, they know history, they know geography, they get the information, the knowledge, they know things, they know people. But intelligent people doesn't necessarily mean they are successful in life because intelligence, knowledge is something else. Application of knowledge, which is what wisdom is, when you apply it in your life, that's when you gain wisdom. But when you know yourself, knowledge of yourself is beyond intelligence. It's now wisdom because you understand that you've got to master yourself to achieve whatever success you have to achieve in this world, be it academically or in your own personal life, in the personal growth and development, so that you can live a fulfilling, purposeful, peaceful, and happy, loving life. So you need to become self-aware. Are you aware of the area in your life where you need self-control? Are you a very angry person? Are you always often angry and you blame people? No blame game. I'm sorry, my darling. I'm sorry. There is absolutely no blame. I'm not gonna, how did they say this thing? I'm not gonna affirm. I'm not doing some affirmation therapy. I'm sharing truth here, like those doctors who have become so unfortunately, they've gone astray. They've gone astray and they start telling lies. You affirm. It's like I go to the doctors and say, I've got malaria. Why don't you just affirm? Why do we need to go for tests? Why? Why? But when I go affirm that I'm a female, a male trapped in a female body, you say, oh, I agree with you. Doctors did not study to do those things. Doctors study to bring solutions, create solutions. And then doctors did not even, then the medical professionals, the medical researchers and pharmacists to get the drugs that now that will help you so the doctors can prescribe those drugs that will help you to solve that problem or that ailment. So we have to understand, we have to stop blaming people and take responsibility. Are you aware you drink so much? Are you aware of your drinking habit? You're not going to blame your wife. Or she's a nagging wife. It says in the Bible, it's better to stay in the roof than with a nagging wife. No, no, no. You have a problem. You have a problem with alcohol. You have a problem of controlling your desires, your appetite for alcohol. You have to become aware that this is a problem. This is an issue. I drink. I overdrink. This is an issue. I smoke. I kill and intoxicate my lungs. I can blame the stress level. Absolutely. I've shared again and again. You put pressure within a bottle of Coke, Coke will spill, not water. You put pressure within a bottle of water, water will spill, not Coke or Fanta or orange. If you don't like what is coming within out of you, that anger, that drinking habit, it's time for you to take ultimate self-control. You're responsible for that. That's why you're given the free will. Free will is beautiful, but it's a huge responsibility. If you're not accountable, you destroy your life against God's purpose, original intent for creating you. It's like a manufacturer creates a beautiful car with an intent that that car stays on track on the road and takes you to your destination. A reckless driver who may be drunk takes the car off track, destroys it, destroys the engine, and damage it. It's not use that car to fulfill the purpose for which the manufacturer created the car. It's exactly the same thing. When we abuse our body, we don't use our willpower in alignment with the purpose for which we're created. Unfortunately, we're going to destroy ourselves. Self-destructive habits, we're going to self-harm, we're going to harm ourselves, intentionally, consciously, or unconsciously. So what area are you struggling? Are you a very quarrelsome person? You're always wanting to pick a fight. Stop blaming people. Stop blaming that friend. Stop blaming that colleague. If you cannot become self-aware, then unfortunately, you can never have self-control, unfortunately. And you cannot take that responsibility that I struggle in this area. I'm always shouting, I'm very quarrelsome. It's not a good game. It's to fix things, it's to restore things to the original way it was created to function. So once you've done that, you're self-aware now, you need to go to the next level. Vision for your life. Remember, because I don't want you to say, oh, this is my standard, because some of us will be so average. There are people who actually function below their standard. Only your best will do. You were placed on this earth to fulfill a purpose. You were created for a definite purpose. Only when that purpose is fulfilled, then have you fulfilled your potential. Then have you been successful. Anything less than fulfilling that purpose is short of success. You are not successful. You are mediocre. You are average. If you go beyond, that's excellence. That's outstanding. Even better. But of course, you don't want to overdo it. And then you end up, you have people breaking down too much of anything. It becomes a problem. Hardworking, exceptional is powerful. Work without any resting, it becomes destructive, and people have mental breakdown and all of that. And then they fall before they collapse and break down before they realize that they've overdone things. And that's not really success. We can't say you've been successful because you've let the body now out of track. You've destroyed the body. It's no longer working in alignment with its original intent for creation. It's no longer fulfilling its purpose, and hence it's no longer successful until we go and restore it so it can get back on track to what it was originally created to fulfill. So you need to establish a vision, and vision is God's ideal, is the image He puts in our mind for the purpose for which He created us. It's like a manual that He puts within us, a blueprint, a DNA. Look at, for example, our DNA brings out what we're going to become without us even struggling. Like the hair color I'm going to have, the height I'm going to have at this age, it is all embedded within my DNA. And all of that. None of us within our DNA was encoded that we're going to be all so big and obese. Everyone has the opportunity or the potential to be obese if they eat so much, but it's not actually our purpose or the potential that we're called to fulfill. As well as all of us have the opportunity and ability to build muscles, but not everyone. You need to work out consistently, daily, and keep taking actions. So once you've done this with that vision, the vision is the reference point. So there is no argument, it's not my personal stuff. And when people see it, everyone can identify it. Success is evident. You don't need to even speak. Successful person, you see it, how fulfilled they are. It's not about amassing wealth. People can have so much money, riches, material things. They are so unsuccessful and so unhappy and have not impacted anyone. All they've done is even destroying other people at the expense of their own ambition, their personal gain and ambition. They've destroyed so many lives to achieve everything they've achieved, and they don't really care about people. They only cared about themselves and achieving those material gifts. And once they've done that, they destroyed their homes. They didn't have time for their family, for their spouses, for their children. They are all lonely. Not everyone, remember, but anyone who fulfills purpose is evident. They are fulfilled, they are happy, they are joyful, and they share this with people. They must have impacted lives. You don't achieve your purpose without impacting life. Your vision goes beyond just you and your family. It touches so many more people out of your family. So you've got to have that vision, that reference point, that destination. Where am I going to? Where am I heading to? What do I want? What is the norm in this standard? What is a healthy mental health and well-being? The one that thrives. Then you now know that, okay, words are life or death. If I'm going to be speaking deadly words, then unfortunately, I'm moving away from that standard, far below average, and beyond even average. I'm going to destroy my mind. I'm going to destroy my mental health because words are life or death. I'm going to give it deadly words until it becomes so depressed and dead without any more life. And I won't even have the Z to live anymore when I wake up because there is no motivation, drive to live. There is no reason to live because all the life have been taken off me by my own words and my own way of thinking, because my words eventually transform over time too. My thoughts eventually transform to my words. So my words are a reflection of the thoughts that go be in my mind. And as we think, so we become. If I'm thinking negative, then I translate that in my words. Eventually, I will live that through my actions, and eventually it becomes habit and my destiny, contrary to my ultimate purpose, divine destiny. Because I have gone against and I've been speaking things that are not life. I can't say my opinion is that if you swear 15 times a day or just use these swear words, is better. Words are life or words are dead. Any word that is not positive, it's not uplifting, it's not empowering, is deadly. And when you speak it, principles, they don't respect individuals. Principles, like I said, is a divine law. It's a divine law, universal law created by the manufacturer, the creator of the universe, of everything, puts that divine law in it. And if you don't abide by those principles, they will prove you wrong. You'll be destroyed. It's like if you don't agree about gravity, that is a force that exists on earth, that anything that goes up will come down automatically. All you need to do is go jump and think that you will expand or you will soar. You're going to be proven wrong. Gravity, principles have their way of proving us wrong, having consequences for every action we take when we go against the principle that govern the success of that, area in our lives. So I wanted to have that clear vision because it's going to be a reference point. For example, for me, I'm so much into positive words. It's become part and parcel of me. I don't swear. I don't speak negativity. I don't want to be around people who swear. I don't want to. If I'm working with them, of course, I won't say go away. I give them a few minutes. I tolerate, accept, but I know that words are life or death, and words are energy. If you speak deadly words, it come around the environment. In fact, in my office, in our offices, we have a lot of words to encourage people, optimistic words. When you come in, you feel that energy. Words are energy. Positive or negative energy. I don't want to be around negative energy, people with that negative energy. But I know that when they come to me, I will support them, I'll be compassionate. But over time, we just have to tell them we don't swear in here because you want me to help you. You're coming to my home. There is a certain law that governs my home. If I don't have power, authority in my office, in my space, where do I have that? I might go to an office. If they swear there, okay, why I cannot stop them? I can always make the decision to take myself off that place. So I can leave. But if you come to me, I'm working with you. Over time, you have to stop. You have to stop because I don't stay in places where people swear. So there's a principle for me because I know it's not my principle. I know what's alive or dead. As much as I'm powerful, yes, my positivity, my positive words will continually regulate your negative words, and positive words are more powerful than negative words. So I will take over. It's like you living in darkness. I'm not afraid. Why? I want to work and help those in darkness by shining my light. If I have friendships, relationships, spouse, I don't want them to be in constant darkness. I just want to chill sometimes and let someone else's light shine, if you understand why I might rest and sleep. I don't want to be the one always shining my light. So in those personal, intimate relationships, my husband, my friends, I won't make friends with people who are so negative, so evil, and all of that. No, because birds of the same feather flock together. I'm not going to be able, but I would actually help those people because it's my calling. I'm serving in that area. And I know that I don't take their darkness because light overcomes darkness. So when I step in, they benefit from my light until I help them to reveal the light within them. They can find the light within them that we all have within us, or the love that we all have within us, where I love them. And I'm not afraid that they live in hate and they are hateful because I know that love is a powerful force. So for me, those are principles. And it's so easy. Like I said, reference point, I'm in a place where someone has come and met me, they are so negative. Okay, and I've actually made up my mind if I ever thought, for example, negative, Lord have mercy, and it stops there. You can speak it, you can think it. And someone comes, is so negative, and it's like, please, am I in an environment where I'm being sucked away from that standard, hearing all the positive, empowering, and uplifting words? I'm gonna take myself off that place. If it's in my place, I'm not welcoming you if you're so negative. And I asked you politely to please stop. Because here we don't accept negativity. I'm not obliged. And I'm not gonna be a friend to someone, like I said, unfortunately, I'm not obliged. Friendship is not about forcing people to be your friends or begging people to be your friends. So I just want to encourage you in this area. You need to set that standard. For me, it's so easy. We are looking at patients right now in my Women of Faith group, and I shared that testimony in church today, just incredible. I'm patient, I'm definite, and again, because I know my purpose, I've got a definite purpose in life. I know that when I'm with someone, I'm working with you, I'm here to serve you. So there's a lot of tolerance. Patience is a capacity to tolerate or accept, you know, delay in people, caused by people, delay from God, and even caused by ourselves. Delay, problems, and sufferings without being angry, annoyed, or anxious. So I'm really, really good because I have a clear purpose in mind. When we have a clear purpose, a clear reference point, a clear vision, in other words, I know my purpose. Wherever I am, I'm there to serve. And I know because I've got what it takes. I've been equipped with the potential, everything I need and resources to serve you. I'm there to serve you. And it's so easy, easy, easy for me to regulate. You shout, shout, shout. I will never shout back at someone I'm serving. Never, never. I'll be calm, regulate, do my best to help them by showing them love, by smiling, by saying, I really understand. Is there any way I can help? Yes, I'm truly sorry. I wish I could make this out. Let's see how we can resolve it. I'm super great with that because I'm very, very conscious. I'm very, very conscious. I'm here to serve. They need me. They need me. It's like you are a patient. You go to the hospital, the doctor cannot become angry with the patient. The doctor is there to solve the patient, to help to treat the patient. You cannot be angry. You have someone who is mentally ill, you cannot become angry with them. They're mentally unwell. So they are behaving in an odd way. You know that you're there in the capacity of a doctor as their helper. So you've got to do your work cheerfully, with love, and get the fulfillment that comes from service. In fact, which is what I said, purpose, because this is my purpose, it's my calling. The ultimate fulfillment, if I've left a place where someone has been so angry, so abusive, and I've been quiet and calm, and at the end, maybe even hugging them, making them to be calm, I'm super fulfilled and happy. I never leave getting so angry that they do this, they did this to me, because I understand that they are hurting. Because people who are hurting will hurt others. Like I said, I cannot pour out what is not from within me. So I'm there to serve them, but I will never tolerate or allow myself. It's not like tolerate, okay? Because again, patience is tolerance or acceptance, delay, pain, and suffering. If it's a friend, but I'm not obliged, why I will tolerate your attitude? Hopefully you change. I'm not, don't make friends to people who are so angry. Without noticing it, you become like them. You pick up habits. It's true, like I said, I'm super positive, but even if you have the power to control yourself, you say that it's like a man who is cheating and a man who is not cheating. You surround yourself with all your friends who are married, male, they are all, committing adultery, cheating. It's only a matter of time. Or you settle, your standards go below because if you don't accept something, you stand firm, you're convicted, and you have to rebuke those who are doing that. But the fact that you go with them, you abide with them, they are cheating on their spouses, and you know that you don't tell their wives, you don't rebuke them, you don't threaten them, not even threaten them, you don't make it so clear to them because you don't threat when you are living in truth. You tell people simply what the truth is. I will tell your wife you are doing this, or I'm sorry, you cannot hang out with me again if you continue to cheat on your wife because I don't accept such behaviors. So in those cases, I tolerate what you're doing, but I don't want you within my space. I cannot be your friend. I cannot hang out with you. If I can impact and influence you to transform and become a loving, loyal wife, then that's fine. If not, unfortunately. So you have to really have that very clear, especially like in this area where I'm saying patience and then that desire of, cheating, having, several relationships out there. It doesn't serve you, honestly. So you have to have your goal. You have to have a vision. What is the ideal? Are you loyal to your wife? Are you loyal to your husband? What did you put come about? What did you put agree? What was your oath when you went into that marriage? Till death do us part, for better or for worse. You will be with me. I take you as my lovely wife, husband. I'll remain faithful to you. Loyal, that was the standard. What is happening? You must control your desires to come back on that track. Ask people, be accountable if you're struggling. There are some mentors, like I said, who've been through that path, and they will share with you easy ways to overcome those areas where you're struggling to have self-control. And let's stop blaming people, stop blaming that wife, that's the reason you cheat. That's ridiculous. That's absolute nonsense, honestly. No one can be blamed for you being a cheat, be it a woman or a man. No one, but your own responsibility that you cannot control your terrible desires that want you to go, have extra whatever relationship out there. You need to take control of that. And the next thing, once you've established that now, you've got to be proactive. Proactive means I'm not going to wait until that thing happens, then I start reacting. So often in life, we react. If you are reacting in life, then you'll be angry because cause produces effect. Cause opposite, how they usually say it, effect. So it's like if a force comes and pushes me, the distance I move will be proportionate to that amount of force. The greater the force, the greater the distance I'm going to move. So if I'm waiting to react, then when life comes to me, the greater the pressure. Someone comes to, what is it, to tempt you. Maybe you're struggling. You can't control yourself when it comes to your man. Women, 50 women come to you. So the temptation will be higher. So it means you're giving then because the response now or your anger will be much more. You'll be fighting and cursing and doing this. Or unfortunately, you will give in. And then you have gone against the standard. So you don't need to become aggressive when you are proactive because you already prepared. You are prepared. Proactivity means I'm prepared beforehand. I know what I will do in this and this situation. I think so. I respond to situations in life based on that ideal, based on my vision, based on my standard, based on my conviction, based on who I am. So it's easy when you come to tempt me, I can smile and tell you, no, I'm a Christian, I'm a loyal wife, I love my husband, and I'm loyal to my husband alone. So you go away because that's so, and all of that. You can talk to them laughing and smiling without being upset or angry, without cursing them. Someone is so angry, cursing you, you smile. Hey, it looks like you don't know who I am because all these things you're saying does not reflect me. But I understand you're surely having a bad day or you're not in your good senses. I'm just going to leave you, okay? I'm not going to continue with this conversation. Excuse me. So being proactive helps you. And when we are proactive, there are two ways we can respond. Three key ways, but the only one way. Three key ways, but the ideal way, the ideal blueprint, if you want to have unwavering self-control, is one key way that I'm going to give you. You can be aggressive, okay? Because now you've already prepared. Some of us go through life, and if you're an aggressive person, you don't want to control, you think is a norm. You've prepared. When I see that person, I will deal with that person. But unfortunately, being aggressive does not help us in any way. It helps us. If there's anything, it makes you become unwell, high blood pressure, and all of that in the long run. So you can be passive and you just say, okay, I'm not going to say anything. Or you can be assertive. Assertivity, you're assertive, you're passive, you suppress your own emotions, you don't do it your way, you are not happy, but you please them, even though you're unhappy. So wrong, so wrong. But when you're proactive, the art way, because you have time to plan, you plan to know that I'm going to be direct, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be open. Direct, honest, and open. I'm going to respect myself and I'll ultimately respect you. I cannot respect you at the expense of myself because it means I disrespect me. And if I disrespect you, it also means I disrespect myself. Because I'm loyal, I'm respectful, and I ought to respect other beings, other people around me. So when you come, you're cursing, you're doing whatever, I'm going to be assertive. I don't need to be upset. I don't need to be passive saying, oh, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to stay there and allow you to put me down, to curse me, to say all what you want to say. No, I'm going to be direct, open, and honest. Hey, I'm so sorry that this is not who I am. You are mistaking me for someone else. I don't know, I've never met you, but if you think about this, then I'm sorry. I just want to correct you. And it just keeps going on and going on. Okay, I get it. You're not ready to learn. You don't want to know me. You've had your own opinion and formed that opinion, and you're okay with that. I'm sorry, I've got to stop this conversation now. While I cannot stop you from speaking, I can stop myself. I'm going to stop speaking, and if you continue, I'm going to leave this place now. Why I cannot remove you from here? I have the power and authority to remove myself, and I take myself off this situation and conflict because it's not helping me. It doesn't edify me. It doesn't edify you. I only stay. Usually, you also relate that way because once you're proactive in life and you already know your vision, your standard is set. Anything that will lead you towards that, you will do. Anything that will lead you away from that, you will avoid doing. You say no to them. You will go away from that. You don't need to be angry. Quietly thanking them for the offer. I'm sorry. You're going to Manchester. Someone gave you a lift. They want to exit in Roncon. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to Roncon. Maybe they wanted to give you a lift. So I will not go with you because unfortunately I need to go further than you are going. I'm not stopping there. And you tell me all of these attractive things or events are happening in Roncon. I get it. Thank you. But I don't want to be distracted at this moment. So it helps us to be disciplined. That vision, that ultimate standard and discipline creates that ability to self-regulate because I know what I want. I know where I'm going to. I know my destination and why I'm going there. So I can easily turn away from any direction that's not leading me to that destination or to that vision. And finally, its ability to focus on what we want to achieve in life, on that vision, on that goal, on that ultimate standard and benchmark or blueprint or landmark. If it's your health, for example, I'm someone, my health is so important. I might do whatever, busy. Sports is a crucial part of my life. Healthy eating is a crucial part of my life. Drinking water is a crucial part of my life. I might get busy sometimes, few times. Maybe I don't do sports every day, every week, or minimum 5 times a week. I have to go back on track sooner or later because my focus is on that final vision, that destination. My focus. So the whole thing goes around again. It becomes like a cycle. So once you've gone to the end, you've succeeded, you've overcome this temptation, your focus now stays fixed on what? That original, who you are, your purpose. You're aware again. This is how I thrive. This is how I live life fulfilled. This is how I live a great relationship with my spouse. When we are happy, we are talking responsibly, not abusing each other. We are friends and all of that. So it goes back to that because you are focused, and focus is so powerful. Focus gives us the ability to amplify things. So you don't put a lot of effort. It doesn't become difficult. It becomes so easy and second nature. For example, if you take a magnifying glass, when we focus our attention, our brain pulls everything. It even brings signals. It attracts. It says a lot of attraction, like-minded people to us who encourage and empower us. So it become the norm now because we are constantly working with people who are actually fit and healthy and think like us. So when we are almost low, they encourage us to be back on track. So it's so important that we continue to be surrounded or to focus on what we want to achieve, to focus on that vision, and we attract those people who also have similar visions towards us. And above all, it is magnified. It's like if you take the ray of light, you focus them on a magnifying glass. Those rays of light or sunshine is capable of setting a sheet of fire, of paper on fire. The same rays, if not focused on a focal point with a magnifying glass, will shine all day. It will not burn that sheet of paper. That's how powerful it is when we focus. And focus helps us, it gives us the ability to stay regulated, in control, in check. Self-awareness gives you the power to become aware of what's happening. And then above all, you separate yourself from the effect, from the cause, from whatever is happening, knowing that you are different. This is a problem. This is a thing. I am unique. I am different. I'm not my problem. I'm not this situation. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not alcohol. So you can separate yourself. Why it's giving me have all the desires? I have that space between me. I'm unique. I'm different. The alcohol is here. I can't blame the alcohol. It's actually around me everywhere I go. And then you can make that decision. There is now that space for you to respond in the most appropriate way that will guide you and lead you to that vision that you have when it concerns healthy drinking in your life. So you can say no to drinking that alcohol and yes to drinking water. So it leads you towards your ultimate purpose, destination, and vision. I wish you a wonderful and a glorious day, and thank you for joining me on the Transformation Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Dr. Sylvia Forchap Likambi, and the Transformation Podcast brings you life-changing and transformational contents on personal development, leadership, relationships, entrepreneurship, and above all, health and well-being, so that you may thrive and live a successful, fulfilling, and healthy life, impacting and transforming the lives of others. And I'm your host, Dr. Sylvia Forchap Likambi. If you're actually needing any support in any of these areas, please reach out. I'll be more than happy to help you. And I want to invite you to the Global Women Leadership Summit 2025 over 3 days in October, 23rd, 24th, and 25th of October at the state-of-the-art University of Liverpool and Liverpool Hope University. Powerful 3 days, gathering of transformational women, visionaries, pioneers, entrepreneurs, thought leaders from all walks of life, and visionaries from all across the globe, coming under a single powerful transformational theme, leading with purpose, leaving a lasting legacy. There will be keynote speeches, masterclasses, panel discussion, workshops, all to equip and empower you with the tools, blueprints, and resources you need to identify your life purpose so you go and lead authentically in your life purpose, impacting and transforming the lives of others so that you leave a lasting legacy even when you are gone, because the impact and transformation you've had in the lives of others will continue to live long after you've gone. Like Charlie Kirk and the Turning Point, we can see that legacy lives on, though he is gone, because he led with a powerful vision, inspired people to willingly follow him because the vision was so clear. He painted it so clear. He showed them where they were going to and the benefits. So we want you to come and join us along so we can get that powerful revolution of visionary women who will transform the world, leadership, working on diversity, harnessing our diverse nature. And this is the largest and most diverse women's leadership summit you ever attend. The diversity is incredible. We don't work with just one race and all of that because we understand the power of being unique. Each one is unique. And if I leave you out, I fail to maximize your benefit. It's just like the body parts. For the edification of this body, I must use all of my body parts. If I keep one dormant, then I lose the benefit that part brings to this entire body for its edification. Hello, my darling Gloria. Thank you, my darling. Thank you. It's really been a while. It's really been a while. It's a pleasure to have you there. I'm just running the Transformation Podcast. I'm here on YouTube as well. Check me out. I've got a lot of my videos now. I put them on YouTube. I've got a daily devotional service I also do on the Women of Faith podcast. Please check. It goes every single day on my YouTube channel, Dr. Sylvia Likambi Global. And if you want to join me as well, feel free to join me. Please share this and bless someone else and grow and have ultimate self-control in the areas of your life where you're struggling. And just to recap again, become aware, self-aware. Where you're struggling in, the area where you need self-control, and then you take responsibility and control. Don't blame others, because self-control is about you controlling the self, taking it to that ultimate, definite reference point. Who creates the reference point? Remember, purpose determines the reference point. Purpose, what is optimal health and well-being? What is optimal mental health? You don't define what optimal mental health is. It is defined by the Creator. And everyone who experiences that has peace, fulfillment, success, and they thrive. So once you've identified that, it's your vision, it's your standard, it's your reference point, make sure that every action you take, you're going to become proactive now to take actions daily that will lead you towards that path in such a way that when you encounter trials or things that want to derail you, desires that want to derail you, emotions that want to make you go angry or away from that standard or that reference point, you can self-regulate. You can take yourself back because you know where you're going to, and you can say no without feeling guilty, and you say yes only to the things that lead you to that reference point, to that vision, to that destination, and you stay focused because your ability to focus will determine how easy and quick you get to that point and how much you attract people who are like you, and you'll be able to empower one another, so you continue to work effortlessly, and it becomes so normal to have self-control because it's like when there is a law, people live by that law. We don't go through the red light, not necessarily because we love staying when the light is red, but is the norm, is the standard, is the law. So that standard, great law to govern our life, is like the law of how we can succeed, the law of success, the law of great health states you cannot overdrink, you cannot do this and do that and do that. And we have to abide whether we like it or not. It's exactly the same thing. But in this case, the more you do it and focus and surround yourself with like-minded people, the more you are inspired to do it and encouraged, and people are there to help you when you want to go astray. You have a wonderfully blessed day, and thank you for joining me on the Transformation Podcast. Thank you. It's Dr. Sylvia Forchap Likambi. Please do share and subscribe on my YouTube channel so you may get more of